Mother calls me that, Stevie. Or I'm in trouble usually. Yeah, usually I'm in trouble when that happens. So.
Hey Jimmy, can I start, mate?
No, Jimmy's fine, please.
Massive underdogs. Queenslanders, they like that. Is there a bit of that state of origin feel where you're coming over here, people are writing you off? Can you dig deep? Can you take something out of that?
Oh, certainly. I think that's a lovely heritage we've got with our rugby codes, the Queensland way. If we can tap into that a little bit, that'd be fantastic. Certainly, we understand that we're probably underdogs coming into certainly last night's game, and most certainly against this strong Perth outfit. So that's okay. If anything, that takes the pressure off us. We're going to come out and enjoy this spectacle. 55,000 over at one of the greatest stadiums in the world. So we're so thrilled to be here.
Silence the crowd, is that the key? Sorry, silence the crowd, is that the key early?
Oh.
What are you going to do, mate? Because the Orange Army, the place will be shaking.
It will be, yeah, and they're a parochial group, the supporters over here in Perth, and I think it's great. So they should be. Their team's been very successful for such a long time. We're going to embrace the crowd. We haven't got a point to prove. We're here to play a good game of cricket. We're going to embrace the crowd. 55,000. Most of us probably won't play in front of a crowd that big ever again. So we're going to enjoy the moment, whether they're with us or against us. They're certainly probably the majority against us, I reckon. But we'll spot a couple of teal shirts hopefully in the crowd, and we're looking to put on a great game of cricket.
How much could you enjoy last night's win before you had to kind of quickly readjust and jump on a plane and get here and think about the final?
It's been a little bit, I guess, surreal. That word's a bit of a funny one. It's thrown around a lot, but it really is. Going to that game, we certainly weren't expected to win it. And then it was a little bit shaky just due to the conditions and the nature of the way the game went. Won the game and then sort of soaked in a little bit and then straight on a plane this morning to get over here for the final tomorrow. So I haven't had a chance to really enjoy last night because we've got a big job ahead of us for tomorrow night. So we're very mindful of the fact that Perth are a strong side. It's the BBL final. It's the first time we've played in 10 years. So our mind's eyes certainly into preparation mode for tomorrow night.
Are you still pinching yourself a little bit, considering where you were a few weeks ago? The finals run you had, and now you're standing here in Perth ready for a decider and a potential title.
It's been a roller coaster year, no doubt about it. I've said that we're not great starters in this competition. We've got a heritage of doing that, and it's not something we want to be doing. But certainly, I feel as though since probably the halfway point, and having our test guys come back into the side, we've got on the right track again. We've got a nice roll of wins under our belt, and there's some good confidence rolling around, particularly our bowling group. I think they've grown immensely. I remember probably before Uzi came and the test guys came, captaining that side and captaining the side last night, that bowling group has come such a long way in their growth and their ability to execute under some pressure. So we're in a good place as a team. We're so excited to be here.
One bowler who didn't play last time, Spencer Johnson. What are you expecting? He'd be loving these conditions, wouldn't he?
Oh, definitely. What a find he's been for us. I know Buff Lehman's been all over him for a while now, and we can see why. He's shown his class. He's a bowler who knows his game so well at his age, 27. He's gone through some trials and tribulations over in Adelaide, and he's got his opportunity with us. He bowls fast. He can swing the new ball back into the right-hander and away from the lefty, which is a lovely matchup. And then you've got conditions like this here in Perth, which are, I think they're great for ball and bat. It's one of the greatest wickets in the world and in Australia for sure. So he'll enjoy these conditions. He'll enjoy the moment. He's a bit of a show pony, the Italian stallion, so he's going to look forward to getting out and playing in front of 55,000 and show what he can do, which is bowl fast.
Can you put a contract extension in front of him fast enough?
Oh, look, we've got to beat Dizzy to the punch. I think Dizzy's chasing his signature as well. So, so team should be. He's a left armour, big tall boy who can bowl fast. He can hold a bat. And he's good in the field as well. We actually find him at point. He can read angles really well. So he's a complete package. We'd certainly like to keep him, and we'd like to get him across to the Queensland Bulls as well. So that's very much on the radar. But I think Dizzy's now come sniffing as well.
When you guys were sitting last in the ladder, what was going through your mind at that point?
Oh, geez, lots of things. As a captain, you think, am I doing things correctly? What can I do to get this team back on track? And certainly the nature of this tournament, it can eat you up sometimes. But I've played long enough now to know that you can't ride the emotions of outcomes too much because the tournament's so long, 14 games, then a final series. And I'm well aware we've had seasons in the past where we've started similarly and gotten a roll and gone into a final as well. So I was always aware of that. Obviously, we left our run probably as late as we could. And again, with our test guys coming back, putting us back on the right track, bringing back that class into our side, not that we didn't have it, but certainly that composure those guys bring from playing test cricket on the biggest stage was great for our group. And we're now moving in a nice direction as a club, I think, and we're building towards something not just for this final, but for seasons to come.
Were you part of the BBL 2 squad? Or you obviously weren't in the 11, but were you part of that at all?
No, I wasn't. I didn't make my debut till BBL 4. Certainly always been a Brisbane Heat fan, being a Queensland born. I remember that journey being very similar to this one. So snuck into a final off the back of a Luke Pommersbach special, and then anything can happen in a final, and they played some good cricket at the whack of that game.
Do you take motivation out of that kind of rags to riches story, I guess?
Definitely. I think the game's changed a lot since BBL 2. Like the standard, the crowds, the game itself has changed so much, but certainly the process probably hasn't. And our history shows that we can come across to the West in conditions that have probably not been favourable in terms of not great seasons under our belt, but getting into a final. And then once you get there, you just got to follow your process. And if you do that, then anything can happen in a final.
What was the turning point? When did you start believing that you were a chance to make it here today?
I always had the belief in our squad, and I was actually scratching my head early doors going, hey, why aren't we winning more games? Because our personnel are good. We just couldn't put it together. And winning and losing, it's a habit either way. You can get on a roll in both directions. So probably the halfway point, we got a win under our belt at the Gabba. We put on 200 there, and we won a close one against the Sixers, which was probably the turning point. I feel we got a bit of belief into our group, and then once those test guys again joined, Uzi brought his influence to the team. We got a real nice run of wins under our belt and haven't looked back since.
How much of a disadvantage is the scheduling? Obviously, you played last night, flew today. Would you have preferred a Wednesday final or something like that to give yourself an extra day in Perth?
Maybe. I think it's funny though, like you always like to have that preparation time, but we've found, obviously we've done it the hard way through this final series, had to play every one, but probably less time sometimes can be better as well, especially when you have that winning feeling. You can just turn up, go through your preparation in terms of mental preparation. Probably all the time you've got for is sitting down doing your planning for the team you're playing against, and you go out and just execute. So that's worked for us in the last little bit. Sometimes you can have too long and think too much about things, and when you're on a roll, you just want to keep that momentum going, and I think a short turnaround is probably the best thing for us.
Did you see the video of Marnus and Raz enjoying the game last night?
I certainly did. I made mention last night. It's fantastic to see those big boys still getting around the Big Bash and their teams, and everyone knows how passionate Marnus is about Queensland and Queensland teams and the Brisbane Heat. So it's great to see him stick it to Smudge last night. It was pretty cool. And we're very pleased that we've got their backing. They're watching from afar, and they've contributed so much to us in getting to this position.
You mentioned Uzi and his influence on the team. Is that harder for you to develop that with the bowlers, given that you're at the other end keeping?
It can be. It's certainly geographically, it's not always the easiest when you've got 80 minutes to blow your overs and you want to be there in the pressure moments. But I've got some good people around me that we can use to if I can't get their mid over, they'll be across the conversations that need to be had. Certainly it helps having Uzi or your captain at mid-off. Definitely, it's been noticeable for our bowling group, but I think that the growth they've made, they've certainly got more confidence in what they're doing. They probably don't need as much guidance now as they once did probably earlier in the season. And I noticed last night, obviously we weren't pressured too much, but they executed their plan. So it may be a different story here where batters can get away from you at times, but I'm certainly very confident that the guys have got confidence in what they're trying to deliver.
How do you go from playing last night on that pitch? AT said obviously the Gabba's quite similar to here, probably the most similar, but you haven't played there in 4 games. How do you go from batting on that pitch to something out here?
It's great as a batter. I think it's so tough in those conditions in Sydney. Your game is so different. You've got to, coming from bouncing conditions as we do, go from using the pace to creating the pace, and it can be quite a different transition. For us, coming back to these conditions is what's natural to us, to be honest. So it probably won't be too much, in our thinking about how to change things. It's more natural to us, as I said. So, and to be honest, not many of us faced many balls last night, so not much has changed. Only Mikey Nessa did the job for us. So no, we'll be fine. These are friendly conditions for us, and we're excited.
Do you make any changes to the 11? You've got Ross Whiteley sitting there.
Yeah, we've got a squad of 15 here, so we'll have a good look at the wicket. The boys are getting in an hour or so, and we'll make a decision then.
Provide an insight into how Uzi and Marnus help galvanise the team.
Certainly. As I mentioned, they bring their class and their experience playing at the test level. Guys of that calibre can only build a strength in the side, and definitely put us back on the right track. I think we need that confidence boost at the halfway point when they joined us, and their energy certainly rejuvenated our campaign, and no doubt that's a big contributing factor as to why we're playing some nice cricket right now.
You talked about the hostile crowd. Is obviously playing at home's nice, but is there something special as well about being able to come into enemy territory and spoil the party? And does that kind of motivate you a little bit as well, just to kind of steal it away from Perth as such, especially when they're favourites as well?
Yeah, I guess so. Yes. Winning the game of cricket is the most important thing. I don't care where we play it. I think the fact that we're here and there's going to be a massive crowd is awesome. One of the greatest stadiums in the world, as I said, and we're just excited to be here. So, look, we'd love to win to stick it to the crowd, but that's not the forward front of our mind. We just want to play good cricket against a high quality side and win that game for our club. We've gone through some hurt over the last few years, no doubt about it. People have written us off for a long time, but I think we're building towards something pretty special as a group. both this year making the final and moving forward. And what I'm most pleased about is the consistency we're bringing as a cricket team now, and finding ways to win in sticky situations at times. So, yeah, love the fact that we've got a massive crowd and we're playing at a great stadium.
How much does Mark take?
Players through this tournament, like 4 imports to upgrade, have you handled so much change?
Oh, look, it's inevitable change when you've got guys that play at the next level. Obviously, overseas players are only available for 6, 7, 8 games at a time. So that's just the nature of this format now in the Big Bash. Every squad goes through it at some point. I know these boys here in Perth have also lost some of their big stars to the Test team. So you just got to adapt and fill those guys full of confidence to come in and do their job when they're called upon. And last night I was very pleased for guys to come in and execute their roles. Semi Hazlitt was an unfortunate ending, but he took on sock. That's why he came into the team. So it's great to see those guys come in and buy into what we're trying to achieve as a team. And guys like Nathan McSweeney, who have had success, previously, then gone out for guys like Mars come back in and just continue on their role. So no, we're very pleased with our squad and how it's shaping up.
I reckon Marnus will be giving it to Ashton and Cam Green and a wild thing over there. Getting ready for that.
There'll be natural bit of competitiveness going on over there. As we saw last night, similar scenes. I expect to see something similar tomorrow night for the boys. I think it's great, the rivalries that happened within that Test side, and obviously that were such close mates, but when it comes to state lines, there's a bit of a hatred there, I guess, at times, and a competitiveness. So it's great, and hopefully we can deliver another win for those guys.
Does Mark Stickety come into the equation on a pitch like this?
Oh, he's certainly not out of the question. If it does have that bit of a green tinge and that new ball might do a bit, certainly Stecky's in the conversation, as are guys like Jack Wildenworth, Will Presswich, guys that we've brought across this game because we're not sure what we're going to get. Generally speaking, it's a good, fast, bouncy wicket. So all those guys will be in consideration for this game. Good. All right, thanks guys. Good on you. Cheers. Thanks. Photo time.